Alrighty, guys, welcome to Never Split the Party presents Starfinder. New system, or newish now, we're about a week late. Brought to you from the folks who brought you Pathfinder, which we affectionately call Dungeons & Dragons 3.75. It was based off of the 3.5 system, improved, and has been going since, ignoring all the fun stuff from 4 for the better, and competing with 5, I guess, at this point. Right. For us, this is our first session. We are starting a brand new campaign with some characters who've had some brief history, which you'll probably get through some of their dialogue and content. It's really silent in here. You guys just listening to me? Don't do that. I hate that.
I'm paying attention.
You're freaking me out. It's never been this quiet in the same room.
Isn't that a good thing? We're supposed to be quiet so we can hear each other.
Yeah, aren't we supposed to be professional on this?
I know. That's why I was freaking out. All right.
Where's your paper? You're supposed to cut that out now.
Oh, that's right. We're supposed
White
to have
paper.
Yeah. I'll have to hold up. I need to do like asteroid or something to the. Hey Nick, cut this. We will be doing live streaming, but the live stream is also going to be edited and then published to YouTube. So you'll hear some things that are editing notes, and that's why. Before we get into it, I'd like our characters, or player characters, to introduce themselves. I will start. I am not a player character. My name is Dustin, also known as the Arbitrary Nerd, and I'll be the game master for this and probably any other campaign we start, no matter how hard I try to make someone else do it. Next up, Justin, go.
My name is Justin. I'll be playing Seeker, who is a android technomancer. I know, really unique there. But, yep.
Nick, you're up.
All right, I thought we were going to go clockwise, but I suppose not.
It's different for everyone, I think.
Yeah, I am playing Brawl, and he is a rat folk armor storm soldier, so that should be fun.
All right. Miller, who is the lovely blank screen played by our friend Chris, who is late and or not coming, who knows. He is another rat folk, and his class is mechanic, engineer, which is the ship, whatever. He's the one who tinkers with stuff, and we'll have a drone thrown in there. Next up, we'll do Michael.
All right. Well, I'm Michael, and I am playing a android also, and I am an operative ghost.
By the name of?
Zero.
Alrighty. And then next up, and last but not least, we have Pat.
Patrick. I'm going formal this time.
Patricia.
So I am Reich Oren, also known as Rye, also known as Ryo, also known as the Big O, also known as Handsome. He is a level 1 envoy of the Lashunta race. Very attractive man.
Now that the stream's on, my mustache is itching, and I don't know why. It's driving me nuts.
Go for it.
No, I have been. I can't stop. All right.
There you go.
For our setting, we are in the standard Starfinder setting with some homebrew additions. I will be including characters and factions that I have mostly made up, including the first place that our characters are picking up on. They are located on Pyramid Station Alpha, which has been shorthand to PyStAl. It is a station that is far into the vast and not as well connected as some of the other systems in the Starfinder universe. It is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different domes that are connected by long tunnels and in a somewhat pyramid shape. It is not a closed pyramid, and it does look like the ugliest pyramid you've ever seen because it is a bunch of domes, glass domes that open up into different environmental scapes. From the outside, coming in from space, you'll see that the top dome is you're not able to see through it. It's darkened. You're not really sure what's in there. Folks call that the control dome. The next 2 tier, you'll see a city and a little bit more of a country-style landscape. And then they vary below. The next 2 tiers, you've got, deserts, looks to be a more forested area. And then the very bottom tier is going to be, there is a factory dome. You look in, and it looks very, very heavily industrialized. There are a couple of urban-looking domes in that bottom level, but they also look grungier. Like the glass outside when you're looking in, it's a little bit dingier. It's a little bit darker. And then the very last corner dome on that level is actually the dome itself is shattered open to space, and it is known locally as the Dead Dome. Our players have been stranded more or less on PyStAl for about a month now. They were all previously members of or students at the Pyramid Station Alpha Military Academy that services the Border Space Union. That's not important now. You'll get bits and drips and drabs of that, and also we have some character interrogations that'll be dropping soon that are a little bit more personal meetings with character to character. For now, I'm just going to go around and see what each of our player characters are doing this random day in their month on PyStAl. I guess we'll follow Nick's suggestion and go clockwise. Nick, what is your character, affectionately nicknamed Brawl, doing? He's been here for a month. He's an expelled student. He has his own motivations, his own goals. What's he doing today?
So what Brawl is doing today is he's going to be looking around to see if there's anything that our group could take on as like a mission from where we currently are, or any leads as to we have lost that the ship vessel, correct?
Yeah, let me go into that a little bit. So first of all, you guys have since leaving the school haven't actually formed any sort of a group. You are individuals. You may have a connection or two. I don't know if your character has a relationship closer with maybe the other rat folk, Miller, or some of the other adventures you had when we were doing character instruction. But for right now, you guys are all individuals. You've all kind of scattered through PyStAl. And you're all located on the lower tier of domes, so either the factory or one of the two industrial domes. Which tier is based on almost a status in the society of PyStAl. Feel free to ask questions, by the way, on characters, locations, everything. Some of these I'll give you for free because it's just stuff your character would know, but you don't as a player. Additionally, I can make you roll for it if it's something that you might not know, but there's a possibility for it. Specifically, however, if you were interested, you think that Brawl will be interested in what got them expelled. What happened was your group was responsible for the loss of a military vessel during a training exercise. Now, the reasons behind that will come out a little bit more in those character interrogations, so I'm not going to worry about that now. But in terms of looking in for leads, yeah, I think that's totally viable. Do me a... oh, God, what's the check? Michael, what's the check for knowledge local, I think it is?
Yeah.
I don't remember what the chart is for that. I'll see if I can pull that up. Yeah, that would have been good to have up. That's one I should have just pasted.
Culture check?
Culture check?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Pretty certain.
Yeah.
I think you trained in it too.
Everything's new.
Yeah, culture, you need to be trained. It has trained only next to it.
No, there's another one that's just for like literal, like what you remember.
The memory checks?
Is that what is it? Memory check? That's what I'm going for.
I believe that's what it is. I could be wrong. It's still a new system.
You know what? You guys all have character sheets up, right? Let me open one of those, and I'll just look through your skills and see if you have anything applicable. The idea is I'm trying to tell you what options you have in terms of people that you would contact. Culture is trained. It would probably be culture. I'm assuming you do not have culture?
I do not have culture. It is trained class skill only.
Okay. And you know what? Give me a diplomacy roll. You've been around for a month. You've been kind of putting out inquiries, looking into it, and you've talked to some people. Let's see how effective that was.
17.
17. All right. So you have a couple of leads then. You are, like I said, you guys have been mostly relegated to the bottom tier, which is 4 different domes, which are the 2 industrial domes are as close to slums as you get on the station. The station isn't that well upkept across all of its domes. The upper 3 tiers are very much better maintained. Despite calling itself the Absalom Station away from Absalom Station, PyStAl has its own issues that are kind of excessive. However, in these 2 industrial domes and maybe, going into the factory dome, you've gotten a couple of names of people that you can reach out. There's an investigator, a private investigator who has arrived at PyStAl not too long before you guys were expelled, actually. He only goes by the name C locally, but you know that he has set up an office in Industrial Dome 1, and he's gotten a reputation for being a little bit aggressive, a little bit... Let's say that he is almost world weary, but he does seem to be pretty dedicated to his craft. The other name you are given is Draenor Half-Orc. He is a gangster who runs one of the gangs that kind of controls the lower tier. There are a couple different gangs. The security on these tiers is a little bit less. So there are, turf wars and some different groups. But he runs a gang that he affectionately has named the Half-Breeds. Either of these have been given to you as good options for finding more information.
So for the future, knowledge checks are based on what you're seeking knowledge about. So you choose what skill it would be to recall certain knowledge.
Okay, so it's more or less what we just did then, right? With the culture.
Yeah, so that was perfect.
Okay, all right. So we didn't have it, went to diplomacy. That's perfect. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. For you guys know, Michael is going to be our fact checker because I can't be bothered. And we all have kind of different roles. Justin is the one who is bringing you this beautiful stream and put everything together under duress while we yelled at him for the past half hour.
It's very true.
Close to an hour, actually, of just us yelling and making faces.
Very hurtful.
Yeah, we have other roles that'll come out as we're going. But next up, Nick, who do you think Brawl would go to? Would he be interested in reaching out to the mysterious investigator, or Draenor Half-Orc, the gangster, who is he's based in the factory dome?
I believe he would be gravitating towards Draenor.
Draenor, okay. You don't know too much about Draenor. His lifestyle doesn't really match yours too much. He's relatively low-level thug, despite kind of having control of an area. He doesn't have any real clout with the system at large, just his little turf. He is the greatest way to say it is a little bit speciest. He has a very big preference to the half-breeds and those that are kind of out and down on their luck. He's been known to perpetuate violence specifically against humans. But he doesn't restrict that. He also has for whatever reason, he has an issue with the Vesk. I'm actually going to leave that there. You have spent your time investigating. You've been very dedicated to this investigation, and you're on your way to see Draenor. All right. Next up, let's pull up Twitch so I know which order you folks are in. Miller. Miller is not going to be in this bit right now. He's doing his own thing.
That's also not clockwise.
Yeah, it's counterclockwise.
I'm going to go counterclockwise because I've already started this and I don't know what I'm saying.
I thought you did it out of spite.
Yeah, what's up?
Continue. Do we obviously know each other? Have we been in contact with each other since?
That is going to be largely up to you guys. You definitely know each other. You weren't in the same classes. All of your character classes kind of put you in different actual academic classes as well, but you guys did encounter yourselves a little bit through your academic years, which we've talked about a little bit in your backstories, which again will come out as we play. And then in terms of the incident that happened where the warship was lost, and again, the name of that warship, you guys haven't actually gotten that yet. It's known as the Infinitum. And that's the warship you guys lost. You guys might hear that name dropped a couple of times, and if it's at you, it's not a nice drop.
Oh yeah, of course we do know each other because we all have backstories together. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you guys do know each other a little bit. However, when you guys left school, you were kind of scattered, and if you decided to keep together as characters, as players, I'm okay with that. But the standard is you guys don't actually have any ongoing relationship with each other.
Okay.
Now, Zero, what are you up to?
So Zero spends most of his time, just about every day, collecting information, and if he comes across information along the lines of, say, slave traders and people just abusing authority and stuff like that, he takes that information and he'll anonymously give it to like proper authorities. So this day, like any other day, he's just kind of wandering around seeing what he finds. in areas like the slums and things like that.
All right. Let's see what that gives me. Do we have... There is no... Oh, there is perception. Give me a perception check. You're wandering the lower domes. You're keeping an ear out. You're blending into the crowd, being nondescript. As an android, you're not really acknowledged in any special way. Your kind is very common on PyStAl.
15.
15. Eventually, during your wanderings, you do happen to witness your friend Brawl, or at least your acquaintance Brawl, making his way through the crowds and going towards a known hideout for the gangster you definitely would have come across in your searches. Again, his name is Draenor Half-Orc. You actually have a little bit of a respect for this gangster because, again, his appeal to the disenfranchised means he is very much against slavery. He has a ring of thugs he devotes to attacking areas that are known to have specifically android slaves. Now, that being said, while he sets the androids free, that's about it. That's where his responsibility ends. And then he uses this as an excuse to loot, raise, steal whatever he can from where these androids were kept. And then, again, leaves them wherever they are, goes on to his own way. But in terms of people on the station, he is at least slightly part of your kind of internal abolitionist group. What do you do as you see Brawl heading this way?
So we're actually walking towards each other.
I'd say it's in the crowds. So each dome probably carries a population of average, probably about 1 million people. So you're staying towards one of the more central areas to kind of learn what you're looking for. And based on your perception roll, you did happen to notice, maybe out of the corner of your eye, the familiar furtive moments of a rat folk, a Yusoki that I have no idea how to pronounce. And he's ducking into an area you know to be one of ill repute, but also associated with Draenor.
So without I would probably follow him to see if there's anything interesting going on, and I would do it stealthily.
Awesome. I'm assuming there's a stealth roll?
Yes.
Yeah, stealth. It's a dex if you don't have I'm sure you have rank stuff.
23.
All right. I'm not even going to let Brawl roll. Not really Brawl's thing to be super cautious, I don't think. That'll come through, and Nick can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I'd say that's accurate.
All right. So you have spent your time, and again, your focus throughout your month here has just been to continue with your abolitionist movements. That's fine.
And gain whatever information I can in general.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. We'll use that. Now, if anything comes up where information is useful, I'll have you do the
knowledge check.
Probably just a knowledge check for that. And if you roll high, I'll give you a bonus. You have a tidbit to kind of entice somebody else. Going counterclockwise, you jerks, we've got Rye. Is that how you say your nickname?
Yep.
Okay, Rye, what are you doing this day about a month into your stay on Pyramid Station Alpha?
About a month into the stay. Is there any theater district or entertainment district?
Yeah, absolutely. Both industrial domes have some sort of theater district. Industrial Dome 2 is more of a, let's call it a red light district. That's a little exaggerating, but it's definitely the seedier of the two. But you do get, they're very much dedicated to their entertainment because on these lower levels, they don't have a lot of resources. They don't have a lot of attention. So it's all very self-driven. Industrial Dome 1, and their names are very bland. Industrial Dome 1 has the more refined theater aspect. But again, it's still like, you're not seeing like a Broadway style show. You're still seeing off Broadway style shows in these domes.
Okay. I would probably be spending my time at the fancier of the two theaters, attempting to make my way, since being kicked out of the school, which for me was, just research, so that I would later on have the ability to really draw from the character of a soldier student. I'm trying to act my way into a better role.
Okay, so that's good. You definitely know that the upper tier of domes, there's 4 in the bottom, although again, one of those is the dead dome. There's 3 above you, there's 2 above that, and then there's one that nobody really accesses above that, which is, again, where as far as anyone knows is the leadership, but PyStAl's got a weird government style. In terms of above you, though, you know that that has even better, bigger theaters. And the layer above that has, as far as these people are aware, the peak of theater. It's very much regimented. Access to the upper levels requires certain social status criteria to be met. Either your job or your fame can get you through, or you're able to pay excessively for what they call it a hall pass, because the connecting metal tube tunnel things are considered hallways. In terms of your spending time in the theater district, give me a.
I am an actor by profession.
Yes. When you were at the school, actually, what classes would you say you were pursuing?
I was taking. Well, I mean, I'm not much of a fighter, so it wasn't much the melee. I've got not. I can see, but not great vision. I'm not a sniper, so riflery was out of the question. Really enjoyed the strategy classes because that's all books. And I was part of the band. I was in the band. I tried to start up a drama club. That did not work out in my favor. But the effort was there. And mostly anything that didn't revolve around getting hurt.
Perfect. Okay. I wasn't sure if you were maybe in the heavy soldier classes, because I think that would have been an interesting picture because it's not fitting for your character, but
yeah, no.
Okay. In terms of this, when you are an actor, what skill do you consider that you would use? I'm basically, when you went for auditions, were you intimidating? Were you trying to impose? Were you using your actual theatrical sense? Disguise, say?
I would say disguise. The character that I am playing, he's first the Shunta, if for those who are not aware, are very attractive. Relatively androgynous and very symmetrical. So they are. This is from the book.
Very symmetrical.
That was the way that they described it. They're so symmetrical that people are discomforted by how attracted they are to the Lashunta.
I find the antennas weird personally, but whatever.
So he's got
do,
very
right?
short hair so that he can easily throw on wigs. He's very he takes his costume work seriously. And
Okay.
so he is very much a theatrical actor.
Give me a disguise check then, please, to see how well your auditions went.
Okay, my disguise.
There's no more performance check?
Oop, I almost did my roll in Twitch.
I mean, I guess you can roll in Twitch. I don't know. Does that work?
I
No,
hope
no,
not.
it doesn't work.
So
You might be able to
profession,
get, a bot
do
for
you
it,
have, what is your profession? I'm sorry, you said you were picking a profession skill. Did you do performance or actor?
I did act. Yeah, actor.
I'll let you choose whatever is your higher, the profession or disguise.
Disguise. Sounds good.
Okay.
Nice!
Ooh.
I don't
I'm
have that
turning
open.
over a new leaf.
Our
Nat
very-
20 plus 10.
Wow.
Not
Our
20 plus
very
10.
first roll. Oh, wait, no, that wasn't our very first roll, was it?
Yeah,
No,
we
it
had two
wasn't.
previous
It
rolls.
wasn't, but it was our very
It is
best roll
Pat.
so far. Alrighty, Rye, you actually you got in almost immediately. You walked into stage to present as the leading role. Got sick with food poisoning from eating some rat folk cuisine that they really shouldn't have as a human actor.
That has Miller written all over it.
So, as you strolled onto stage, you just, I don't know what you did, but the energy that rolled off of you as you sashayed, I assume, across the stage to the troop leader got you not only hired on the spot, but in the leading role that night. They skipped rehearsal for you, and they just told you to wing it.
I'm good.
This
Wait,
was
That's really good.
This was the most impressive display of the gnome and I that anyone had ever seen on the stage. You actually got a bonus, like you have someone from the upper tier who was slumming it, and they are currently working on getting you a passport for the hallway, the hall pass. That being said, it hasn't come through yet. And you go back to your dressing room on this day, and there is a note that was slipped under your door.
I read the note.
You ever act to me again, I'll kill you.
The note opens, and it says, "Come see me. I'd like to talk about your time aboard the Infinitum." And it's signed by the letter C.
A note to CC.
It's yes, correct. Sorry, that did not work for me at all. Mental capacities failed across the board.
It's okay. We've known you a while. You're simple. All right. So I would bask in the glory of myself. Did I get roses for my performance?
So you've been doing this for probably a couple of weeks. You got accepted before. This is now you've been enjoying the fame, and the kind of big thing that this has gained you is that pending hall pass.
Okay. Does the note mention a time or anything, or it's just kind of a? Do I understand it?
But the nature of its delivery and its kind of abruptness. It seems like they probably want to see you sooner than later.
Okay. I ignore it for 5 minutes as I look over my critiques, taking far too seriously any actual critique for my performance.
There are a lot, all with the same handwriting, but signed by different names.
I angrily grab my my coffee and go to see if anyone knows what the hell this C is and who let someone near my dressing room. How dare they?
All right, I'm going to leave you there on your hunt for C, and we're going to move on to the next player. While you're doing that, I want you to think up a couple names of the theater staff, because I know how much you like thinking of names. Okay. Seeker, what are you doing this day, a month in to your stay on Pyramid Station Alpha? And it's about a month. This is no anniversary. Don't get sentimental.
Okay. I probably would have been kind of following Raish around, actually. Right? Is that how you pronounce it? Raish.
Raish.
I had a lot of fun. I remember there was a time we were together before this that I had a lot of fun with him. And he hangs around with some pretty interesting people that I, may be interested in as well. And yeah, I'm probably going to be bumming around with him a bit. Looking for
knowledge seeker?
I don't want to say with disdain. He doesn't dislike Seeker. He just remembers that I tried to give him a break, get him into the business.
How about this? I was offering to do some special effects for you.
The problem with that is that the last time we did that, I learned that I cannot rely on the weird one, which is him. I'm not one to ever write someone off completely. So I'm okay with that, but I'm definitely keeping up like some borders, like don't go in that room. Don't touch my water. Stay 10 feet away.
Are you trying to say you treat him like an attendant?
I just keep my guard up.
Okay. All right. So not a sidekick. We don't have to.
No.
Okay.
So
all right.
I can't rely on him. I tried that once.
In my art, which is just magical, technological fun stuffs.
Do you have that as part of your profession by any chance?
Actually, I do have a profession, artist in mixed media, and mixed media is a very liberal term.
Right. Pardon my French, Twitch. I'm sorry. Did we put explicit up? I can't. Okay, sorry. Moving past that. Yeah, do me a roll of mixed media psychopath.
All right. Let's see, what do I got? I've got a +8.
I should probably open this up.
26.
26. Fantastic. All right. Despite some of Rye's quiet and mildly subversive protests to the kind of opera house staff, I guess. I don't really know how that works. The crew and staff there, you are actually hired on as special effects staff because one, they can't believe a technomancer would actually lower themselves to like a trained necromancer would, like, this is what they'd want to do with their lives. It's very strange. They also like the fact that they can mildly exploit androids. They're not above that. It's not anything that would have triggered our friend Zero. However, you have a lot less needs, so they don't mind paying you less a lot. Whether or not you notice,
less a lot. Gotcha.
You shut your mouth.
Drugs if they want. I mean,
I'm sure you've made that suggestion, and like probably every other like paycheck, it's actually probably just some sort of medicinal herb that's actually going to get you real screwed up.
Here's 14 pounds of aspirin. Enjoy.
I did. I mean, maybe that would work. I'd have to.
Don't use it all in one place.
It's not gonna kill his liver because it's not really a thing, right? Can you guys be poisoned? I don't know. Right, you take the negative of whatever would be right for an organic. Is that what it is?
I mean, I'm a rat folk, so I should be immune.
I don't think you're eating all the aspirin. Okay, and I was just gonna acknowledge the Twitch stream in the stream. Is that hi Nick at? I did it. There we go. Okay.
Keeping that in the episode. Boom.
No, hold on. Let me get my asteroid paper up. Falling rocks when I actually do that. Stop looking at my notes. You're cheating. Okay, so you've gotten the special effects. You've been following Rye. You actually now you know what? Give me a perception, please. Give me a perception roll.
I'm not good at that. Let's see. My perception is a 1.
That sounds about right.
13.
Okay, so you kind of going through about you're setting up for the show that evening, or you're taking down from the show that just happened. I don't particularly care which it is. I haven't set this in a particular time.
Let's go with setting down so he doesn't have the opportunity to ruin me.
Done. He's taking it down. So you do not actually notice anyone slipping a note under Rye's door. However, as you tend to, you do notice when Rye leaves his room and entered it and left it and entered it. And you decide to tag along. He starts asking about C.
What is that?
You know what? I'll let you guys handle this. You do see Rye leave his room, and he asks someone about the location or whereabouts of C and why they possibly had access to his door. Take it away.
Ooh, are those fan mail?
For the record, Twitch, this is the first time we're hearing all the character voices, which I required them to have. That was a dig at Patrick, because I don't think he has a voice yet.
The thing is, I'm an actor. I have several voices. I haven't picked my regular voice yet. Yes, Sika, it's fan mail.
Ooh, anything bad or good? I mean, good?
You're an odd little duck. Someone said that they wanted to see me soon.
Ooh, very mysterious.
I don't. Have you ever seen this?
No. Nope.
Are you sure?
Nope. Never seen it.
You swear as always. And I keep walking.
Seeker, are you intentionally saying no, or are
Wait.
you?
Which one is that? Which one were you giving me? Or show me
The note that from C,
Oh,
the one
I
that
don't
we're
think
talking
so.
about.
I haven't seen that.
Give me a knowledge check. I don't know what the general knowledge is, though. The memory check. There has to be a
Just give me,
general
like-
one.
It's recall knowledge. It's recall of whatever you're looking into, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's just you know what? Just give me another perception. We'll say if you've seen that or not.
Okay. 5.
Nope. Okay, you definitely have not seen that before. You do have one crumpled on your floor that you stepped on as you walked over it, but that's fine. You're gonna follow Rye about as he tries to figure out what's up with C.
Yeah. This
Perfecto.
is so mysterious. I need to see what's going on.
Yes, yes.
Why would anybody want to see you? I have no idea.
For the eventual podcast listeners, when I turn this into an audio, Rye's stare intensified. That's what just happened. All right, so moving back. Oh, I got to plug up Twitch. Man, having this different video windows open is going to kill me. All right, we are going to be back to Brawl and Zero. I'm treating you guys as a unit now. Zero, you are following the unaware Brawl into Drenar's, let's call it a lair. I like that. So what you guys are walking into, you're in Industrial Dome. It is Industrial Dome 2 in particular. It is the slightly more smog-ridden dome. It's where all of the factories that produce metal goods come from, that go into the factory for production into kind of more elaborate projects. In terms of that, though, it means that it is a little bit more run down. It's a little bit dirtier. It's a little bit grungier. And this lair you're entering is like a collected, like ramshackle set of houses that used to be a block of just different houses that eventually were converted into a complex by knocking down walls without any carpentry talent put behind it at all, and then building up barricades to make hallways. It's a ugly looking building. And Brawl, describe how you enter this building, actually. We'll go through this in character, Brawl.
Do this in character. Okay. All right. So he's going to pretty much approach it as any soldier or mercenary would in such a building that looks as run down as it does. Just very cautious about the situation. Not necessarily anything behind him, but mostly in front of him. Just kind of like not like slinking along the walls, but like checking all the corners, peering in through doorways.
Okay. You get about a couple of rooms in, and you encounter what appears to be a guard post. You've got a number of creatures. There looks to be probably a half-elf from some of his features. There is a half-orc, and there is a gnome kind of sitting lazily around a beat-up looking table in this room. They're all armed, although that's pretty common throughout PyStAl. There's no restriction on armaments until you get to the upper tiers. And they look like they've probably seen their fair share of battle. They wouldn't be pushovers. And they stand a little bit more alert, but like still leaning on the furniture and everything as you come in. And the gnome stands up tall, which is to say not very, and puffs out its chest and says, "Hop, who goes there?"
Better question be, who are you?
Oh, God. Oi, they call me Small. Zzz. There's an S at the end. It's important. And I am the guard you're going to need to get through to go any further.
What says you let me by, and so I can see Dranar?
Boss don't want to see you. I don't think. He looks at his two compatriots. They shrug. Boss don't want to see you. He's a busy man.
Pretty busy myself. How about you let me pass and not pound your face in?
You are the weirdest sounding rat folk I have ever met. Roll me an intimidate check, please.
Heck yeah, trained in intimidation. Nice.
Still rolls a 1. What do you get?
21.
Oh.
Jesus, this is gonna be a shit campaign. You guys are gonna keep rolling, steamrolling.
We're rolling pretty well.
Smalls
Rolling.
with an S. It's important. He looks a little uncertain as this rat folk who is at least marginally taller than him. I think I'm gonna go with it. It is really like it looks like he carries himself well. Could you describe your equipment? Actually, let's get some physical description from Brawl. You have intimidated this character, so work your description into that, please.
So, of course, I'm a rat folk, so I'm a much smaller individual, but I'm very, very stocky for a rat folk. Most rat folk are normally on the slim side. I am not.
He's fat.
I've been doing some lifting, and
Big rat.
Sorry, he's swole.
yeah, he's swole AF. I'm not carrying any weaponry, but I am wearing some armor, some heavy armor.
Oh, you don't have any weapons. That's right. I forgot about that. All right. Smalls looking again at his compatriots who look disinterested. I don't want to say that they kind of want to watch Smalls get his ass beat. But they kind of want to watch Smalls get his ass beat. And Smalls just looks around. I'll actually write down these character names before I get too far. Smalls, Gnome Guard. And he says, all right, maybe boss does want to see you. What do I know? Go on through. You don't even have any arms. What about the android fella behind you? Is he gonna see Boss Man too?
Well, what android? Oh.
0. You are actively in the scene, so you may do however you choose.
So I would actually assume they might know me, because I imagine knowing they would.
Smalls does not. Smalls is he's a little new. However, as Smalls kind of points you out in the shadows where you look rather fetching, I might add. Could you actually describe what your character wears? I don't know Zero's deal. Describe your physicality, please.
So as far as physical description, if I didn't have, androids have like almost circuitry tattoos on them that glow.
Okay.
So if I didn't have those, you would think I would look like just your average human.
Okay.
But I wear those tattoos and have them glow with like pride. Like I take pride in them, fact that I'm an android.
Okay.
And other than that, I don't really look like I would be fit for combat because it doesn't even look like I'm wearing armor.
Would you go like you look like Arthur Dent or Michael Scott from The Office? Arthur Dent is a Hitchhiker's Guide reference. If you don't, it's fine. Google them later. But I want to know kind of how unassuming are you looking? Your proud, glowing tattoos and like wrapped what kind of package?
So just a standard build. Like I don't look excessively muscular or anything like that. Let's see. So I would probably say I look as average as your normal like office worker. You just wouldn't. I would seem very.
Bro, that's the vibe I'm getting, man.
Carol,
that's right. I've got a mental image going. Thank you. You're probably wearing clothes.
Yes, I am wearing clothes.
I meant in my mental image. So as the gnome points you out, the half orc kind of leans over and pumps him on the shoulder with one of his bigger hands, and Smalls like visibly like moves a foot. I
would sell them information.
Perfect. The half orc says, "That one's good. Knows the boss just fine." So you guys are actually allowed to pass. Brawl, do you say anything on your way by?
Yeah, so I'm going to gesture over to Smalls, be like, "Thanks for having your friends let me by."
He shrugs. He's like, "Just go." Hate rat folk.
What was that?
Nothing. You just go, please.
Yeah,
well,
not worth my time.
Now that he knows I'm here, I'll actually approach him.
Approach Brawl?
Brawl, yeah.
Okay. Brawl, react to 0.
Well, I
You guys
kind
have
of
not
did.
seen each other probably in about a month.
Well, I did sort of react when Smalls mentioned him, unless I just didn't see him when I turned around.
No. You react. I more meant Zero has approached you and now appears to be traveling with you.
Okay. Well, what brings you over here?
You appear to be doing something interesting.
Yeah, I was just going
Or
to
rather,
talk.
it's interesting for you to be here.
You know, I thought I'd meet up with this Dranar fellow.
What are you looking for?
Oh, you know, just looking to see if he has any leads on that missing ship that we misplaced.
Let me give one more hint of information, and you would probably still speak about it roundabout. However, in terms of the ship being misplaced,
I kind of assumed it was sabotage.
it's not specifically lost. You guys actively sent it into the drift, and we'll learn about that a little bit more during the interrogations. But in terms of information you're trying to find, something was wrong with the ship. You guys had to prevent it from crashing into Pyramid Station Alpha. So you probably would still be looking for information about
the fact that it
what's
was
going on there.
sabotaged.
Yeah, more so you're looking for the sabotage, not the fact that it's lost. That it's lost, you know pretty well. You sent it to any generic drift coordinates you could input before it crashed.
Okay.
So, looking for the sabotage. Okay. You guys continue into the complex, I assume.
Yeah.
And we will pick up with you guys in a little bit. Next up, we have Ryan and Seeker who have paired up. You guys have went straight to the. You were eventually directed to the station manager. Who, Pat? Do you have a name for me?
Do I have a name for you?
For the station manager, for the kind of theater manager.
Todd.
Okay. The theater manager, his name is Todd Dent. We'll throw in some more references there. Also, you've named the protagonist of one of my book series, but that's fine. So you've got Todd Dent, the theater manager. He is a very... you probably feel a kinship here because he always appears very full of himself. He is a very... I'd say handsome human, except he does have a scar that kind of crosses over his right eye, which happened in a bar fight in one of his younger days when he was on the stage as opposed to running the stage. This man stands proudly before you and is ready to hear your questions.
Okay, so just as a side note, Justin, I don't know if you realize this or not, but I certainly sound different in the presence of people in the theater than I did in the school and pretty much anywhere else. I don't usually sound as I guess, pompous and theatrical.
I'm not sure. The android would pick up on that.
Yep, just general announcement.
Maybe.
Nope, that's good to know. I appreciate it. But I think probably something Seeker would ignore, especially with his low perception as a natural.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is that... Well, I'll get into it later when I actually need to. But
okay.
Dent, Todd Dent. How have you been?
Better before you walked in, I suspect.
Still the same. Charming.
Do you have a question for me? I'm very busy setting up for tomorrow.
Besides how you got this job? Yes, just one. Have you seen this note, or does this make any sense to you?
Is it a note to me?
Have you seen this handwriting before?
I don't know.
Is that your hate mail?
It's my fan mail.
I think I've seen the hate mail one before, though.
Todd looks over at Seeker and says, "Did you put him up to this? You know he's not allowed in my office."
He isn't?
You may or may not remember this, but Todd is actually, despite him putting Rye on the stage, has regretted it probably to this day, because Rye is good and knows it, and it makes Todd insanely jealous.
I didn't do anything.
All right.
But
Give
that would
it
be
here,
a wonderful
please.
idea. One simply great idea. Yes, you know what?
Todd, I love your sense of humor. It's wonderful that you come up with these quips about me not being allowed in the office that is paid for by my performances.
Heavy eye roll is the response. He whips the paper out of your hand, reads it, and says, "Why don't you just go see C? Why are you asking all these questions?"
Because I don't know who C is.
He's the talk of the entire dome. He's that investigator. He set up shop over in oh god, where were he set up? In the towards the the lesser nice area of the dome, and he's been poking a lot about the border space union. He's making a name for himself, or a letter, I guess.
I knew that. I'm just practicing, and I grab the letter and I walk out.
All right. Would you guys go seek out C immediately, or not at all? I guess that's a good question.
I got to collect my pay.
You have your pay for this week. Back off.
Did I get any more? To the DM, did I make any money?
I'm rolling in all the things you've done to be your month of, but tell you what, give me a diplomacy roll to see if Todd thinks you owe if you earned any more.
Okay, I can do that. Diplomacy. Excuse me. Ooh, I get to add 1d6 to this roll because of my expertise, which is a thing with my class. So as long as I have 1 point of resolve.
Do you have to spend the resolve?
Nope. I just
it's just a latent if you have resolve. That makes sense. I remember that. That makes sense.
So 20 all in all. Oh wait, I'm sorry. 28 all in all because I math.
You got another 30 credits.
Thanks, Todd. Pleasure.
How would that roll be? Give me let's call it perception. Give me kind of like a general perception. I want to see what you've noticed about Todd. This is going to be more character info than anything else, like background info.
Okay, this is where I get stupid.
Seeker, I also want a perception roll from you. I know it's not your thing, but maybe you noticed.
I didn't do so great.
What'd you roll?
8.
What was that?
8. I'm not very perceptive. I'm very good at my job. That's about it.
Neither of you guys are perceptive. So Rye takes the pay, has no problem with it. Seeker actually has noticed over the course of their stay here that Todd very clearly is taking in more than he's giving out and more than he's supposed to give out percentage-wise. He is definitely skimming off the top of every single person who works there. I'm going to say you probably haven't brought it up yet, but it is something just to keep in your quiver, Seeker.
Ooh, how about me? Do I get more money too?
Absolutely not. Good day. Do you want to press the issue about maybe knowing about him skimming?
Yes, actually, because, yeah.
How do you do it? How do you do it tactfully so either Rye doesn't know or you're very blunt in front of Rye?
Because I always try to help out when I can, and that seems like something, yeah.
Yeah, we all know how that turned out for me.
Well, I've been going over the numbers, and you see my paycheck is this much, and I show him, I start writing down, all of everything I'm normally get, because I am really intelligent, of course, considering I'm Technomancer. I start going over the numbers like crazy and just giving him the facts, saying, this is how much you owe me.
He looks over it. He clearly
skimming, it seems.
He clearly sees that. No, I'm not skimming. Hold on. I must have carried the. Here you are, and he slips you a cred stick. He does not tell you how much is in it. For your records, though, when you check it, it's 60 credits.
Oh, marvelous! Thank you very much.
I have things to do, but we'll talk.
It's just the android. He's a bit of an odd duck. You know that, yes? Please go. Leave my office. I'm busy, very busy.
And I get shoved out.
He sits down in his chair on wheels and slowly.
I'll have you know, I try not to be odd. That's why I have so much emotion.
As you guys are walking out, it doesn't work.
I have installed emotional cortexes in my mind to make me a little bit more human like you, or whatever you are.
Right, he's now talking to you because the office door has shut.
I just kind of look at my credit chipping. You know that face you have when you think you've been bamboozled? I'm wearing that face as I just start to walk towards wherever the exit is.
Todd,
let the record show Patrick is just showing his normal face in character.
Ooh, can't flip off and be vulgar.
So close, Pat. So close.
Yeah, we should probably mark this as explicit going forward. It's fine for now. Moving on. My query for you guys, and I'm just trying to move it a little bit along for this entry episode. Usually I'll let you guys kind of run the show entirely. As you guys know, for the record, Twitchverse, we've been playing Pathfinder as a group, except for Nick, for the past 3 years. We've had a long-running campaign. Nick is the newest addition to this group. But I mean, we're all experienced in roleplay. This entry episode, I am trying to get you guys to a certain point before we sign off. So, Rye and Seeker, what's yours on? You guys have C's address? It's actually not that far from you guys. You guys are in the same dome.
I want to go there right now.
Yeah, I'll on the walk. I just want to. Can I do a culture check just to see if maybe I just plumb forgot what C is in my post-performance nirvana?
The afterglow.
Yes, my afterglow.
I think you mean Foo Fighters.
Let me take a look. What would
So to find out information from people, it would be diplomacy, but it might just be culture if it's a local area check, and culture is my lower stat.
Dude.
I don't mind doing the lower stat.
No, dude,
I'm not talking to
diplomacy. That's fine. You talk to people constantly. We'll call that diplomacy. I'm okay with that.
Okay. All right. Oh, it's not my lower stat. I lied.
Then do the higher stat. I don't mind. Culture, you're invested in the culture.
Diplomacy is my higher one. This one also has a plus 1d6 to it.
Roll whatever you would like.
So it's 16 plus 2, so 18.
You vaguely recall mentioning of an investigator, which alarmed you a little bit because the thought of someone investigating you thrills you a little bit because they're paying attention to you, but also not in the way you want. So it's almost like it's good, but it's also like really awkward, and you don't know how to deal with that. But eventually you realize that they had very little interest in you as far as you could tell, and they were only making a scene which slightly drew away from your own fame, which is why you have some memory of it. But that quickly dissipated because C isn't making as many waves in ways people are interested in. Talking about the Border Space Union, it's fine. It's kind of the large-scale organization that kind of tries to govern and support the places in the vast or not really well represented by the Pact Worlds, which is the centralized government-ish of the Starfinder verse. So the Border Space Union, but investigating them feels a little iffy for most people on PyStAl since they have such an intimate relationship. And C hasn't quite done anything to rub them the wrong way yet, but he's still not as entertaining as going to see the Gnome and I.
Well, nothing's as entertaining as going to see the Gnome and I.
Can you tell me more about this this Gnome and I play?
You've watched it for the past 3 weeks. How high have you been? I know the answer. It's very... Let's keep going.
I appreciate the attempt to bait more information out of him, Justin. Please continue.
Actually, I was out of you.
Well, when Pat
But
answered,
that
I didn't have any answer.
That's fine.
The gnome and I, when we eventually go to Patreon and we start doing rewards, the gnome and I will be one of the tier rewards where I describe this place so people can use it in their campaigns. So you guys are on the way to CC. You guys entered the kind of slum area of this particular dome, and this dome is very high in manufacturing, but it's cleaner because what it manufactures is less involved with pollution. So the filtration systems haven't been used for years and years. The station PyStAl was actually created as a haven for a dying planet. It will use all the planet's last resource to build the station. They did like a mass exodus. They've been living there for about 200 years. Even after about 50 years in, they realized the planet wasn't going to die, and it was actually not that bad. So some of the domes are a little bit in ill repair. This one's doing okay because the intake is not that bad, but because it's where most of the factory work or the production work is done, you get a lot of working class people in this dome. So you guys go into the slum area, and the slums are where the races that don't mind living on top of each other have kind of economize the space. They build upward and downward, and they're not really worried about having their own space. So you'll see rat folk live often in these slums, and that's not a negative for them. They actually just don't have issues with that. But there are other races as well, and you'll get some humans in there. You see almost no Lashunta unless they're really down on their luck, which is rare because, again, they're particularly charismatic people. But you'll get also half-orcs, orcs, some of the other races that are popular throughout the system, throughout the universe, I should say. As you guys go into these slums, you are located to a little, let's call it like a little strip mall area with these offices. You kind of enter and you see pretty clearly in one of these areas, dingy, grimy, poor lighting. There's a door with like a makeshift sign. It's like a step above a Post-it, but not by much. And it says
So it's a folder.
C private investigations, and it's stuck up on the window.
Let's go in.
Oh, okay. No, I was gonna. Yep. Yes, that.
So you guys try the door, and it is locked. The fog glass window you can't see through to know if anyone's actually in there, and there's no light on.
I deduct nobody may be home.
I just
Deduce.
I just look at no, that's fine. I just look at Seeker. Yeah. Sounds about right. And the pompous nature of the voice kind of drifts away as we're far away from the theater district, and now we're just surrounded by common folk.
So are there any other windows or anything around?
Just so you guys know, Nick is picking on you in the chat.
Yeah.
Can we get a swaying chair counter? Justin equals 1K. Pat equals 500. I haven't noticed mine, so I'm getting alarmed that I'm going to enter the count. Please continue, guys. I'm sorry for interrupting.
So far, the remaining three of us have been pretty good.
Swaying chairs. I got you. All right, so we get here and it says that it's closed, or it looks closed. There's nothing. Do I see anything about any other publications or anything like that on the house hours?
Nope. And you guys are in like a little hallway. There's some other doors off the side. There's a lawyer's office a couple doors down. There is a
3 doors down.
Psychic door, like a palm reader's door a couple down. These all have more permanent signage to mark off who's inside of them. It's just C seems to have taken up residence recently, and it may be temporary.
How urgent did that letter seem?
Said come see me.
Oh. Is there like hours? Is there like an hours posted or anything?
Nope.
No.
That's what I just asked.
All right. Let's go ask someone.
I was gonna say I want to take a walk around. Is it like an independent house where I can walk around the property?
Nope. It's like you're in like a office, like a set of offices inside of a hallway.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah. Is there anything?
A voice from behind the door says, "You could also try knocking."
No.
I'm gonna knock.
Question, and this is for viewers' information. Does Seeker announce that he's going to knock?
Yes.
That'd be great.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. And I assume you do follow through with the knocking.
Yes.
Come in.
We tried that already.
Sake.
We did. Yeah. Did we try opening the door?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I did. Oh, and we couldn't.
Correct.
Right.
I'll
Must
try
have
again.
some
sort of. Must
have some sort
of deflector field keeping us out.
You're gonna need to get one of those.
If he installed a.
I opened the door.
It opens. The office is dark, so you can't see too much of what's in it. There's a window in the far wall that has shades drawn shut. A little bit of the lighting from outside kind of creaks through, so you make out the silhouette of a shape. You can't make out too much about it. It is
dark vision.
Heavily in shadow for everyone but Seeker. Oh, sorry, can't do that.
Wow, it's in my vision. I'm not even there.
Actually, Lashunta, I don't know what Lashunta's visions have.
What?
Lashunta, what's their vision?
Did you say what Lashunta visions have?
Let me
Yeah, I
double
guess I
check.
did. Sorry.
Check the tapes.
What visions?
Well, my vision
Lashunta-
has like 3 Lashuntas.
Shut up.
The Shunta. Where would that be?
I don't know.
I have it written on my sheet. Usually it's right on the race page for the book. Or PDF.
Yeah.
It is somewhere in the race. I'm not going to make you find it. Either way, I will say that maybe you're just not paying attention enough for the light glare from the shades, even if you do have the eyes.
I was gonna say I was gonna try to find a light switch.
You succeed.
Wall. Huh?
You succeed. You kind of reach behind you blindly and slap a light switch on it. It turns on. Some like a cracked fluorescent bulb in the ceiling turns on, so you get a little bit of a better view. Not that Seeker needed it. Dark vision has to be one of my least favorite things ever.
Doesn't look like Lashunta have any type of vision. They have it substituted with telepathy.
Nice. Okay. And you guys see a human before you, and he is heavily dressed, despite being indoors and in a pretty controlled atmosphere. He's got a heavy trench coat. He's got a hat that's pulled down close over his eyes. You can make out the shape. He's a pale humanoid as far as you can tell. And he is hunched behind his desk, and there's 2 seats on the other side of his desk towards you.
I'm going to guess that he wants us to take a seat.
You say out loud.
Well, why don't you have a seat?
I do say that. Sure. Why not?
So is this about my last performance? I normally don't go to the person for a Q&A or a meet and greet, but I do anything for my fans.
If by performance you mean your sabotage of the infinitum, then yes.
You watched very much the wrong play.
I'm glad to see you both got my invitation, Seeker and Reich. I wanted to ask both of you privately, do you know, why did you send that ship into the drift?
Okay, I'm going to take this opportunity to ask you, DM.
Yep.
Do I?
You probably less so. It was something that Miller had discovered as an issue, and then Zero had confirmed. These are your classmates who are not here now. When they were reaching for a decision, you were the one to suggest, why not just send it to the drift? The issue was that the ship was going to crash into Pyramid Station Alpha, and you had no way to change it. Nothing any of the other crew members did, and again, it was a mock simulation you guys were running, but none of the other processes you guys tried actually changed the course, except for sending it into the drift.
Okay. And I imagine that this is something I've already informed the school of.
Yes, that'll come forward in the
asked.
investigation. Yep, in the interrogation we have coming.
Because I don't want to assume anything for that investigation.
Nope. Well, you can also retroactively add it. I'm okay with that. That's part of why we're doing this now, and the investigations can come for a little bit later, because I don't mind what you build now. We'll just work that in.
Oh, okay. So you mean to say you're not a fan?
I actually didn't say that.
Are you dumb? not. I'm talking to Ray here.
Right.
I was keeping my hopes up. All right. And pretense isn't important. Look, I've already told everybody in the school exactly what happened. I don't need to go through this again. Did you not read the notes?
I do not have access to
You got the notes? You don't got the notes?
I don't got the notes.
You don't got the notes? Here's the notes. We saved lives. That's what we did. We went in there. We saw a problem. Beep, boop, boom, done.
You saved
minus
lives.
The boom.
That's not the story the BSU has released to the public.
Odd. The BSU. Yeah. They spin a bunch of stuff.
He looks over at Seeker. This is Reich Oren, correct?
Yes.
Why? Does he not look like himself?
His mannerisms are changing wildly.
Oh. They are? Seems perfectly normal to me.
Right. The Border Space Union is reporting that it was lost due to error on behalf of crew that were performing drills.
Oh,
there's no mention of saving,
all right, but it wasn't ours.
Lives.
There was an error, all right. It was not ours.
Let me explain. You see, we were on a collision course towards PyStAl.
The ship, we didn't do that.
To hit it, and we moved the ship away.
Perfect. That's all I needed to know.
Therefore, saving countless lives in the process, which is what I think my colleague here was getting to.
Exactly. No boom.
I like how Pat's character voice is all the voices, and I think I'm going to appreciate that more than I thought I was going to.
Well,
I heard
the
some
way
Peter Dinklage in there earlier.
The way he's doing it is he's trying to find his voice as an actor. That's how I see it.
No, I'm okay. He's also adapting to his scenario too. He's doing like the gumshoe detective, I think.
Oh yeah, you don't worry about it. There's going to be so many.
I'm more pleased with this than I expected, Patrick. Thank you. That pause is there. A big event happens. We're going to get to that if we have time. We are back to Brawl and Zero, and
That's
you
me.
guys have you encountered. Zero knows this. Brawl does not. Now I gotta look up his name again, which is on
Dinar.
Where are you? Oh, I ripped it off. I ripped it off so I wouldn't lose it. Dranar Half-Orc. Yep. That's his full name. It's never mind. I'm not going to get into the reference. You guys don't watch good things.
I like how the
is that it?
I like how the -2 charisma guy, talked us.
I will have you know, I watch great things. Have you not seen The Gnome and I?
Okay. Moving on. Brawl and Zero have encountered Dranar's second in command. She was waiting for you both about halfway through. She is. What are the other races in there? There's a race that I'm missing.
Like a potato sack race, or
let's go with. She's a Sheeran. I believe they have male, female, and host, if I'm not mistaken. A female Shirin who meets you both, acknowledges Zero, and then waves you on to Dranar. Zero, you recognize this as a sign of acknowledgement. If you did not have a relationship with Dranar, Brawl would likely be in a brawl right now. You all suck. All right. She escorts you further into the complex through some turns and twists that seem to not actually be the shortest distance there. There could have been a couple hallways that were straight shots, but she has taken you in elaborate circles and paths. And eventually you're brought into a semi-little office that's half office, half throne room, half pack rat collector kind of thing. And sitting at his desk / throne, it's a wheeled chair, but done up with like extra just miscellaneous stuff to make it bulky. It looks like a throne of junk, but in the setting, it's kind of fitting because
almost like a throne of iron, if you will.
No, more like a throne of rust. Rusty iron. Shut up. And he kind of sits back. He's a very big guy. This is in terms of half orc, you feel like he's more orc than whatever the other half is. You assume human, and he has really dark hair on his face that comes down like a long beard, but he keeps the rest of his head shaven, and his dull gray skin shows through everything. It's got tinges of green in places, but from the time spent, you feel that maybe he's gotten kind of accepted the grind, and it's part of his persona now. And he stands up as you approach, so he can tower over you, especially Brawl. But he also makes sure that he's towering over Zero. It's something that's important to him as he speaks to you. And he says, I hear you. And he points at the rat folk. And when I point, I mean like he puts his hand over you so he can point directly down. We're looking for me. And he points at himself, making sure that he's pointing directly up.
I have to get back in the voice. Haven't had to speak for a while.
You're going to regret that voice. I just want to let you know.
Yeah, I was looking for you. I kind of puff out my chest a little bit to try to make myself look as big as I can against him.
It's not very big.
It's not very big, but he's trying.
Okay.
I was wondering if you could tell me about a particular vessel that might be missing.
He gives you a smirk and he shows some of his kind of large, jagged teeth, really more orc than half. And he says, do you think I don't know who you both are? The two outcasts? I know what ship you're talking about. You're a lovely military vessel that you sent off to Diddley.
That wasn't us. We had nothing to do with that. We didn't send it there.
That's not true at all.
Wait, where are you?
He's in the same room with you. Dranar looks at Zero and says, Zero.
Hello, Dranar. So what this stupid little rat
know him?
Trying to say, yes. Didn't you notice we got here without you having to fight anything?
They was just scared of me.
Yes, okay. Anyways, what happened was we found that the ship was on a collision course to PyStAl. After seeing that, we tried to avert it. It didn't work. The only thing we were able to do was change its coordinates. We sent the ship off into the drifts.
Oh, I know all about that. Yeah, some nasty stuff you guys are involved in. Did you have some particular questions for me then? He's now looking at Zero, but Brawl, feel free to chime in if you'd like.
I look actually to Brawl. So what were you going to ask?
Well, how exactly did this happen?
Why do you think I would have any idea as to why a border space union ship was on a collision course with a heavily civilian space station?
Well, you seem to know a lot of things. Okay, I've heard of you quite a bit already. Running these half-breeds.
Was that a slur?
That's the name of your group.
Yes. It sounded like you were using it as a slur.
Sir, am a rap folk. We get along with everybody.
You don't get along with me.
This guy's impossible to talk to.
Yeah, maybe I know a little bit about your missing warship. And he does like air quotes for missing. Very clearly, it's not misplaced accidentally. And he's aware of this. I don't see any reason why I share this with you.
Getting to that, actually, if I have any information on potential slaves or slavers planning to move any products, I'd like to use that as bartering for any information he has.
For that, we're going to call it a diplomacy roll. And basically what I'm rolling for is to see the quality of your information versus what he has for information. So please give me a diplomacy roll.
Any chance we can make that stealth, since that's how I would be obtaining the information?
No, because you're using this information to barter.
That's unfortunate.
I'm giving you an inherent bonus for the knowledge that you have, but I need your roll as well.
Oh.
Is that a
5?
5. So the knowledge that you have
Actually,
is...
it's 6.
A 6?
I have a -1, not -2.
Okay, all right.
Big difference there.
Yep.
Really saved it. Saved the roll.
That's interesting, Zero. I am always looking for a new venture. It's not quite enough to get me to spill what I know on such an establishment as the Border Space Union military. I'd be willing to pay you for that information, however.
I'm more than willing to sell it. You always put it to good use.
He offers you a cred stick with 50 credits on it.
Done.
Okay.
You know that's a kind of small amount there.
It's worth it. He's destroying slavers.
You know what? What would that roll be? You're trying to... Give me a diplomacy roll, Brawl.
$15.
All right, I'll have him roll against you for this. Okay, he's fine. He looks at you up and down a little bit, and it's not... He doesn't have to look very far because you're small. And he says, you know what? Zero here is a good friend, and I should pay my friends better. He gives you another 60 credits on a different cred stick.
I'll take that one.
Yeah, I don't give it to him.
He does hand it specifically to Zero. Brawl, you successfully increased Zero as well. GG, yo. All right.
Last time I tried to help him too.
And as these credit sticks are changing hands, this is going to be relevant for all the players. There is a shrill screaming that fills the air. It almost sounds as if the glass of the dome, the big dome, these are big structures. Again, 1 million people live inside these dome structures, or about 1 million, give or take. And it feels as if it's shrieking, it's shaking itself. For you guys, for Rye and Seeker, C quickly hits a button on the wall behind him, and the blinders flip open, so you guys can see some space and see a little a little bit of a window out into the dome itself, some more area. And then for Brawl and Zero, Dranar motions to his Sheeran second, who hits another button on his wall, except the ceiling opens up, like a skylight opens up, so you guys can see the dome. And what you all see in varying stages is a spaceship out beyond the dome. Normally, the domes try to keep the appearance of atmosphere, so they're not usually terribly transparent. But when something this big comes through, the illusion of atmosphere tends to fade. And you guys can see above the sky, as how it appears, there is a starship of some sort on fire, and it's screaming close to the dome. Ships are not allowed to fly this close to the domes for many good reasons. And it flames, smoke pouring out of it. You can't hear anything about it, but in terms of that, but it looks like it's in bad shape. And it goes kind of past your vision. You hear the screaming and the whistling in the distance, and then there's a massive collision. There's shatters of glass, but it sounds like 100 car windows shattered in a parking lot at once. It's a cacophony of sound that you guys have definitely not heard before on the station, and the entire ground shudders. There's an earthquake that, as far as you can tell, impacts your dome. You don't know about the rest of it, but both of your domes are impacted, and it's the weirdest event you guys have felt, because you guys are in a space station floating. You don't have tectonic plates to worry about. This is still a significant shake. Things on all walls fall, tumble, shatter to the ground. Buildings that are not built as sturdy as others. Some of those ramshackle huts in the slums with Rye and Seeker collapse in on themselves. People scurrying, trying to find any sort of cover from falling debris. And then all is quiet beyond the screams of people in response to this earthquake. For Brawl and Zero, Dranar immediately looks at both of them, one to the other. If you want that information, I've got a job for you.
Before we get to that, do we recognize the ship?
It was too indistinct from the distance, the smoke and the flames, so I'm going with a no.
Without actually knowing what the ship was, size-wise, would it fit the class of ship that the one we lost was?
Gods no. The ship you guys lost was a massive military vessel. I don't remember the class sizes in here. Dreadnought size, very big ship. It would have had a crew of hundreds. This would have been more of a crew of no more than a dozen, roughly, give or take. I don't have a good view on it, but definitely more of a personal ship versus a warship.
Okay.
I mean, we might as well. We're already here.
For the record, Dranar is a criminal. When I said gangster, that is in the literal sense. He does have criminal enterprises throughout this area of PyStAl. I don't know if that's a problem for either of you. I just wanted to be clear. If you accept a job from him, you are technically accepting a job from a criminal.
What's the job?
Go find out where that ship landed and bring me everything you can. I'll send along a cleanup crew as fast as I can get them together, but all the boys are out on a job. And girls, he looks over at the Sheeran, who looked indignant.
What do you say, my friend?
Salvage is always first come, first serve, so I'm in.
Let's go.
Done. Quest chain accepted, effers. Moving on. Rye and Seeker, you guys didn't have as good of a view because of where you're stationed. What you do see is a lot of the after effects. The area that you guys are in, catastrophic. Water veins have sprouted from the ground. Houses have fallen over. People are wounded throughout and scurrying. And C turns back in his chair.
I didn't do that.
I need you two to do me a favor. Investigate that ship and try to make sure it doesn't cause any more damage. I'm going to go get security. Security with a capital S.
So we actually saw the ship?
You saw like a smaller portion of it kind of crashing through like the flames. Did not shatter your dome. You guys would have noticed if your dome specifically shattered.
That must have been brilliant to watch. Damn it! I'm gonna go look at it.
C says, "Yeah, that works too." Rye?
So much inspiration. I wish I saw it.
That boy is a maniac.
Will you follow him to make sure he doesn't get into any trouble then?
Fine.
All right. We're approaching 10:30. It's 10:18. And I know we started a little bit late, but for the first episode, that gets me to about where we want it to be. We have Rye and Seeker put on by the investigator, known only as C, to go and help maintain any issues that's going on with the ship that just came hurtling down. We have Zero and Brawl, who've accepted a job from Dranar Halfork to go pursue this ship and return as much as they can in terms of goods. Going forward, that's where we're going to pick up. If Miller is with us, I'm hoping Chris will join us for next Tuesday, starting at 8:30, but set up at 8. So hopefully we'll have some stuff up next time for our setup. Hopefully, maybe. We will go a little bit through Miller's day before we get into this aspect of the crashed starship. But we can get into that relatively quickly from there. And that's where you guys can expect to see us. If you guys have any questions, any comments, anything you'd like to see or learn more of, reach out to us on any of our social media, which you can see on Twitch below. Comments here, we'll keep checking. We can check us over on YouTube when we start posting stuff. Our YouTube content's going to be these videos, but edited, getting all of our stupid nonsense out of the way, and they'll be a little bit more curated. So that'll be coming later. Facebook and Twitter, we are NSTPcast. And then we have that Discord chat that at least Nick is always checking, and I pretend I am. The audio version, similar to the YouTube version, will come a little bit later, and those will be on the iTunes Store and the Google Play Store. And you guys can pick us up trolling on Reddit from time to time as well. We plan on being here next Tuesday. Again, game time should start at 8:30. For us, that's a slightly moving target, but we're getting there. And players, do you guys have any questions or parting words before we hang up on Twitch?
I think
That's
it's funny
8:30
that...
Eastern,
Huh?
by the way. Just
I was going to say, I think
Why
it's
not?
funny that we're never split the party, but we spent this entire...
Split in half.
Yeah.
You guys aren't officially a party yet. I'm actually surprised
Oh,
you
okay.
guys
So
all
it doesn't
got
apply yet.
you guys have all accepted the same plot hook. You guys will be on the party again. I also have anti-plot hooks had you guys turned it down. So we're good to go. Pat, you were saying something?
I was just saying it's 8:30 Eastern.
Yes.
Good call.
I would not have thought that mattered. Yes, 8:30 Eastern time. We don't care about Pacific or Central. Screw those guys.
Unless you want to watch, in which case, welcome.
Yeah, way to just alienate a few people.
No, they're fine.
Armax, you fine? Yeah, he's fine.
Somebody immediately regrets their words.
We don't believe in time zones in this Twitch. It's 8:30 everywhere.
China.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
One
Space
time
rocks,
zone.
Pat. Space racks.
Space rock.
Space racks. Yep.
No longer playing. That doesn't count as my one.
Questions or comments, guys? Anything else before we sign off?
That's a negative.
No,
Yeah,
sir.
I'm good.
Alrighty then. I want to just sign off and remind folks: never split the party.
Yeah, Patrick. Are we doing that? Are we doing that?
I don't
I
know.
suppose
but
we have to be a
that's
party
great.
first.